Hello, welcome to Get Your Mind On. I'm Lori Stoss. Have you heard the expression, it's just not about the words that you say, but how it's said? The delivery of our message in our communication day to day is very important. And we think about our workplace, we think about all the times we communicate throughout the day and how those messages are said and how those messages are received. And there's really three different ways of the communication. One is the words that we say, two is the tone that we say them in, and three is the body language that we use when we deliver the message. And when we think about the words that we say, when we say those words, about 7% of that message is heard by the receiver. When we think about the tone, it's 38% of that tone is what the receiver feels. And then out of the body language, it's 55% of the message is received through the body language. So when we think about that, the words are really important, but it's also the tone of the words and the body language that's used. So let's drill into that a little bit more when we think about the tone of the words that we use. So we may have a message to give, and we think about what is that tone? And we think about the pitch of our voice and the volume of our voice and the words that we place emphasis on. And when we really think about delivering maybe a tough message to someone, sometimes our voice changes and fluctuates and we're not even really aware of it. So let's use an example of something you might be sharing with one of your individuals that you manage. You may be giving them a message that, I'm disappointed with your performance. So that's the message. And if I emphasize the I am disappointed with your performance, that's a little bit about how I'm disappointed in you. Now, if I put the emphasis on I'm disappointed in your performance, that's a little bit about placing the blame on you, that it's your performance and your issue. And if you place the emphasis on I am disappointed with your performance, that places the emphasis more on the performance is the issue, right? And the outcome that we're wanting to achieve as accomplished. So when we think about those messages, the way we say them and where we put that tone and that emphasis on those words, that's really important because that's really what the individual is going to be hearing. We're the one that shares that communication and that message. But when I use the I, the your, and the performance, that came across a little different in every message, even though the words were the exact same. So stop and think about that when you're delivering your message, where you're placing the emphasis, as well as where the pitch and the tone of your voice. Now let's think about the body language that's critically important when we're giving this message to the individual. First is really thinking about the way we look at people in the eye, really sitting across from them and being direct with them and looking them in the eye, really connecting with them personally and making sure we're with them one-on-one in that conversation. We want to be direct, but yet we want to have respect with them as an individual. Secondly is just thinking about how do we show up. Sometimes when we have to give news that's a little bit tougher and we're trying to deliver it in the right way, we may feel like we need more of a commanding presence, that we need to come in and show up and I'm the boss and these are the words, versus really that's not as effective as you have a more of a caring and a genuine message that's sent across to the individual. So they feel that, you do care about them, although this is tough news. And sometimes we have to really think about the individual, obviously, that we're delivering the message and what's going to be beneficial to them. And the last piece when we think about the delivery of the message through body language is really thinking about the storytelling piece of it, is really helping to emotionally connect with an individual. Sometimes when we have that news, if we can connect it to a story and understand that emotional piece, it does feel a little bit better when they take it away to really think about what does it mean to them and really make it personal for them. So there's lots of different ways that we communicate every day, but we really have to think about what differentiates us through our communication when we're sharing messages every day to lots of individuals, whether tough messages or simple messages. It's thinking about those three things that we've talked about, the words that we say, the tone that we use, and that body language. And so think of all those three things and think about what it means to you when you share those messages and just be aware of that. So for positive charge this week, let's think about the different things when you communicate a message, what matters. One is the message that you're saying. What are those words that you're going to communicate to the individual? Second, what is the tone that you're using them in? And third, what is the body language that you're portraying? So look at each of those components this week as you deliver a message and think about how they come together for you. Are you very clear on your message, clear on your tone, but maybe your body language is a little bit more extreme? Remember, that's the one, whether it's through gesturing or facial expressions, that's the one that's pretty strong, that's what people see when you walk away. So think of those three things this week when you're sharing a message with someone. And secondly, you might want to get some feedback from someone. Ask someone in a meeting if they're with you, ask them for feedback on those areas so you can really understand how to get better with that. So we communicate every day, and we want to make sure those messages are clear and coming across, and there's nothing misunderstood. This week I've had a number of meetings where we've had some challenges with communication, and most of the time it was just a misunderstanding of those words and how those words were received or how those words were given. So really, to differentiate yourself as a leader, think about it's not just about the words that you say, but it's about how they're said. Thanks for joining us today, and remember to get your mind on.